In this video, I'm going to talk about how you can be a more interesting person. We've all met that guy or girl who might not say much, who might not even do much, but when you start talking to them, you find yourself completely fascinated by them. That is an interesting person. That's someone that everybody wants to talk to. Now, there are many components in becoming more interesting, and I'm going to show you what those pieces are and how you can put them together. And also, I'm going to show you videos of people actually doing these things in real life, and then I will show you how you can apply them in your life. Tip number 1. Don't try to appease to everyone. Telling everyone exactly what they want to hear does not make you interesting, it makes you average. Take a look at Bill Burr's interview right after the US presidential election. Now, the usual thing to say is something very middle of the road and diplomatic, but notice what he says.
Really, you didn't like either one?
No, I didn't. I couldn't stand her. She dresses like a real estate agent, like her doing this thing with her head.
Yeah.
The other guy's saying, take people's coats.
Yeah.
If you liked Obama, did he call you at all in the last 8 years?
Notice how by saying that, he's automatically more interesting than any other person who would have said the right thing to say. Bill didn't try to dial it down, he didn't try to be respectful, he just said what he felt like, and that's what makes it fun to listen to him. We live in a huge world and everyone's opinions are different. Why then would you pretend to be the same like everyone else? There is no way that you can possibly please everyone, even if you're in the right. The only thing that you can actually achieve by trying to appease everyone is become utterly unremarkable and boring. People are attracted to each other's rough edges. If you make your opinions clear and put them across tactfully, either through illustrative examples or by using humor like Bill Burr, you can become much more interesting by just being yourself. Tip number 2. Know the social norms and break them tactfully. Social norms are the very things that make our societies livable. If we didn't have them, we would have everyone cussing out everyone and there would be total chaos. That's why it's helpful to know them. But you know what following the norms all the time makes you? Boring. Now here's another example from Louis C.K. He's a comedian and it's very common for comedians to come on stage and thank their audience and tell them how nice it is to have them there. They talk about how all opinions should be respected, but look at what Louis C.K. says.
If you have, don't yell out during the show. If you have something you want to say to me, totally, this is what we do. We write it down, and then you go outside in the lobby, and then you go home and you kill yourself. What else? No Jews. I think they said that earlier, but they told me I have to say it. Jews aren't allowed.
Now, did he actually want people to get offended? Does he really want all the Jewish people to leave? Of course not. But just by saying these things that are considered mean in such an over-the-top way, he's made people laugh because it's not expected. Now, obviously, he's a comedian, so he can get away with this, but you can apply this in your life as well without going so over the top. For example, if you're seeing a friend after a long time, instead of telling them that they look great, you could say something like, "That coat makes you look like Sherlock." You could be creative with this, and of course, context is everything. You don't want to make a joke at someone's funeral. Just be smart about it and experiment and see what works. Sometimes it's more interesting to be a little rude than being very sincere. Don't take this too far though. Tip number 3. Be more knowledgeable. Know about a lot. Sometimes what can make you more interesting than the next guy is just plain simple knowledge. If you're in a room and you're the only one who knows about a particular topic that comes up and you can say it in a way that isn't pretentious, you're going to be infinitely more interesting to talk to than everyone else. Look at the way Neil deGrasse Tyson, the astrophysicist, pulls this off when asked about the colors of the moon.
At the sun. So when the sun sets in June, it's actually very shallow below the horizon.
Yeah.
That's where it is. So the moon opposite it is very shallow above the horizon. It never really gets high enough to shed itself of sunset colors. And so it takes on an amber hue. So the full moon in June is called the honeymoon.
Oh. There you have it. There you have it.
Notice how he doesn't use much scientific jargon and he doesn't talk down to you. And this is also what makes Neil deGrasse Tyson so likable among all the other scientists, and that is that he knows a lot and he knows how to share it. This makes him more interesting than a lot of other scientists who may be more qualified than him. So the next time people are talking about an engine and you happen to be an engineer, explain it to them in layman's terms and try to do it without sounding like a know-it-all. Don't pull out your differential calculus textbooks, but explain it to them in a manner that is engaging and in terms that they can actually understand. Tip number 4. Be a little sarcastic. Now, sarcasm is something that is a double-edged sword. I've seen a lot of people who think they're being cool by just being sarcastic, and they use it a lot. That is not a good idea. However, sarcasm, when used sparingly and effectively, can actually make people laugh and as a result make you more interesting. Look at the way President Obama pulled it off.
Let me just say something to all my conspiracy-oriented friends on the right who think I'm planning to unleash some secret agenda. You're absolutely right.
Now, if you always say what people expect, of course people are going to be bored. Sarcasm is a very effective tool in making people reconsider their expectations of you and in turn make you slightly more interesting. If President Obama had just denied the theories, we wouldn't even be thinking about it. But by giving us a response that nobody expected using sarcasm, our brains immediately lit up and everybody laughed. And his speech was immediately more interesting. Again, I urge you to please use this sparingly because I've seen a lot of people get sarcasm very wrong and they think that they're actually being funny. Tip number 5. Blow things out of proportion. Now, if someone asks you about something factual like how far away the sun is from the earth and you exaggerate your answer, then you're just being dishonest. But sometimes if you can make your exaggerations very obvious, it can also be very entertaining. Kevin Hart is a master at this, and look at this clip from an interview.
It's hard for you not to look amazing.
That's very true. That's very true.
And I will say, you look fantastic.
No, it's like, honestly, it looks like somebody drew me. It's like perfect. That's what it looks like. I look like a sketch. This is a perfect sketch.
Right, yeah.
Obviously, Kevin Hart is intelligent and he doesn't think that he's literally perfect. But by exaggerating it to such a degree and by completely owning it, he's made everyone else laugh. And if you do that the right way, you'll automatically become more interesting. So when someone asks you about how they look, try exaggerating a little bit. And as is with all these tips, use your judgment. Before you say a new joke, try it out with friends and family first. Don't make an offensive statement in a board meeting. Just keep these tips in mind and notice them whenever they are used by someone else. And slowly, you'll start to become more interesting as well. And who knows, maybe just by watching this video, you're just a teensy bit more interesting now. That's all for this video. I hope you liked what I did with this video, and if you did, please hit the like button. If you want similar insight in all areas of your life, hit that subscribe button. Leave a comment below letting me know which tip you found to be the most interesting. Pun intended. Thanks for watching.